Aloha, flow riders. Welcome to the flow. We are back. We are back. We are back. Oh, my God. The one thing you should not try to do, Kates, is you should not be Doc and trying to type something while you're doing this.
No typing. We need like a little graphic that just pops up that's like, no typing.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. No, what I have to type is really small. When I do my meetings now for the flow or anything else, one of the things that I like to do is because of the way that Notion works, I like to do a Notion transcription of what we're doing. I know Zoom does it and everything, but Notion has all of our context. So when it does a phenomenal job of capturing what we say and putting it into notes. And for some reason, right now, just this one time, it's deciding not to work properly. And I have no idea why it's giving me a headache.
It's on vacation still.
Yeah. There we go. I got it. There we go. All right. So now it's working. All right. So today, guys, guess what? First of all, Katie and I are back from a little trip, and today is a mailbag episode. And I was just about to tell Case, but I decided to save it for you guys for the show. I flew in, and I came from Heathrow in London, and I went through Shannon, Ireland. And yes, I'm going to pronounce it Ireland for the rest of my life because of our new friend, Nick Redmond, who's the coolest. Hi, Nick. And as I was going through Shannon was super cool, man. If you ever have to go that way and you think about going straight or stopping in Ireland, do the stop in Ireland because you check in Ireland, there's nobody in the custom lines. It takes literally 2 seconds. When I was coming back, going through global entry, I was the person. So I walked in, looked at the machine, walked in, and the lady goes, "Hey, Sean," really loud, exuberant. And I was like I did something. I thought it was like Catholic school because the only time I ever heard that accent was that the headmistress at school. So I thought I was about to get the paddle. But she's like, "Oh, did you buy anything crazy in the UK?" And I was like, "Nope." She's like, "Okay, get on the plane." That was it. But my entry into JFK was an absolute mess. They got on my nerves. Clear wasn't working. I had to be in the Muggles line, which I never go in the Muggles line. So that took forever.
JFK was a mess.
JFK was just raw dog and dirty. It was terrible. Get on the plane, and right before I got on the plane, brother-in-law gave me this big bag of Trader Joe's stuff to bring home to Karen and Mom, and we don't really have Trader Joe's here. Of course, I already checked the bag, and I have a backpack and a rollie, but now I got this big bag. So first TSA was like, "Oh, you can't bring that on. They don't have enough." I'm like, "Oh, it's only food, and Hawaiian always lets us bring it on." And the lady just gave me a stink look. And then the other guy who was standing there with her was Korean. So I explained the same thing to him in Korean, and he just waved me through. Okay, so get in the plane, and it was just a mess. However, I'm sitting down with buckled in, ready to take off, and the lady on the jump seat, she's like, "Oh, one of the other flight attendants says you always sit here." And I go, "Yeah, this is my favorite seat because you can get out really quick." And then she was like, "I recognize your voice. Did you used to do like TV or something at home? Like, are you kind of a celebrity?" And I was like, a little bit.
Like,
and so we were talking. Turns out back in the early 90s when I was working in all my clubs, her and the girlfriends used to hang out at all of my clubs. But, we had elevated DJ booths. So they always hear you. They don't necessarily see you. And then so the rest of my flight was just absolutely awesome. So I had a great flight, watched a bunch of Agatha Christie. Katie, you didn't tell me it was that good.
I am in my Agatha Christie era this year. I'm trying to read all 66 of her detective novels, and I'm going to pull it off somehow. Yep, all 66. I even bought, oh shoot, I'm so sad that I don't have it here. I bought this like incredible Agatha Christie like tracking journal. You know how we both love a journal. So 100? Now I'm using my fountain pen, and you basically you write in it like when you started the book, when you finished, what you rated it, who the victims are, who the murderer is, whether or not you guessed it, and then any notes. And it's been so fun. Like, and it's all organized by like the year and whether or not it's a Marple or a Poirot or one of the other characters. So I've just been flying through. Spoiler, I never guess it. I get so into the story that I'm just like, I guess near the end, I'm like, oh shoot, I was trying to guess who it is. I'm just like in the moment. Oh my God. But it's been so much fun. So yeah, if you're looking for like a fun challenge to kind of get your head out of all the craziness right now. Yeah, Agatha Christie's what's up. She's
how many have you read so far?
Not a ton. I'm up to, I want to say 7 or 8.
Man, listen, content idea. Even if it's for a VHS club, just to grow the content, like you need to make that 3 to 5 videos for each one of those.
True.
Not even like telling a story or breaking into it, but like what's catching you in. What is it about Agatha Christie? Just crispy. Agatha,
she crispy.
Agatha Christie. Yo, like adding that to your, even if it's to your VHS club, because there's movies that have been made and shows that have been made.
Yeah.
I think there's a phenomenal content idea, because one of the things about the content, which everybody keeps skipping, is letting your audience know who you are, especially if it's something that can connect people, like in-kind people, right? See, listen, right here. Love Agatha Christie.
I know.
I say crispy again. Jesus Christ. That's because I didn't get my Nando's chicken.
Ryan, I tried to convince my team to go with me to the Mousetrap, and we only had like basically like one time to be able to pull it off, and it was just so busy we didn't get there. Which just means that we have to go back.
I definitely.
Doc and I were all in, and we just didn't quite pull it off, and I'm heartbroken.
Oh my God. And listen, Matt, even if that would be another one, because we all grew up with Nancy Drew.
Oh, I love a Nancy Drew Hardy Boys.
I always say Nancy Drew Boys ever since I was a little kid. So Matt, here's a funny story, Matt, because I told Katie this when we were at the Sherlock Museum. I had all of the Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys books, but then when I wanted to play football, I was too poor for shin pads and thigh pads. So I used to put the books in that slot on my pants to use it for pads. And it turns out it doesn't protect your butt when you catch a belt for messing up all the books. That's all. That's all I want to leave. I'll leave it at that. I don't want my mom getting in trouble for child abuse how many years later. All right, fam. We got mailbag episode. We got to catch up. I'm happy to be back, and this is really cool. And I'm dying to finish watching Seven Dials and catch up with Katie on her Agatha Christie, not crispy. Agatha Christie. I think that needs to be a.
We just made an inside joke right here.
That needs to be like a Chat GPT, one of those weird images. Okay, so it's mailbag episode, and in the mailbag episode, this is where we come in and we talk to you about the things that you have going on that you want to get solved for your podcast. In Ecamm or not Ecamm, you can ask us any podcast-related questions. I will ask you first, Katie, during the show at TubeFest, was there anything podcast-related that you picked up on, that kind of like sparkled your...
No, not really on the podcast side of it. There was an absolutely incredible session. Doc, I think you were there for it. One of the employees at YouTube gave a really fantastic overview on all things YouTube. That was probably the closest that was podcast specific that I thought was applicable, but the event had two different tracks, and so it made it a little bit tricky, to try to make sure we were seeing everything that we wanted to see, and then obviously supporting all of our Ecamm fam who were either speaking or involved in one way or the other. No, I mean, I think really just continuing to kind of really keep things video centric and video first, which obviously we've been talking about from the very beginning. So we're ahead of the game. So we're winning as usual. How about you?
Charlie's session for me, literally what it is. Now, this is something anybody who's been watching me or watching Benji and I, work together trying to get his things off the track. One of the things Benji's been telling everybody is make longer videos, right? And then Charlie on YouTube specifically pointed out, according to all of their stats that they have on the inside, the highest viewership is coming from watching videos that are longer and shorter. That was a key point, right? So shorts or go all the way in. Another thing he said, viewers in most markets across the world are moving from mobile consumption to connected TV. I don't know. Doc has been saying this like 3 years. Everyone says you're high. Here we go. Now we got proof, right? Providence. 88% of households in the United States are watching YouTube on connected TV. 384 million. Almost put a B. 384 million kinfolks. Take out 88% of that. Let's just call it 300 milli. And they are all watching YouTube on TV. Okay. 70% of those households in Europe are watching connected TV. There's well over 1 billion households watching connected TV. So all you guys who are like, I don't want to make long videos, go ahead. You do you. Okay. Like that was an important one. And then here's one for the people who are getting paid by YouTube. Mm-hmm. longer videos have a higher ad percentage as far as the word I'm looking for. My brain just went dumb. Your ad revenue share is at a higher clip. So let's just say, for instance, you were getting $1 a click on a short video, on not the shorts, but let's say 8 minutes. Say you're getting $1 per click on 8-minute video posted on regular YouTube. On TV, that's more like $1.25 to $1.50, sometimes $2 per click. Why? Because people who buy TV commercials are used to paying that type of money for something to be aired. So what Ecamm could do, if we wanted to, we could talk about how using Ecamm and recording your podcast with Ecamm will get you more longer and loyal viewers if your podcast is on YouTube on the television. And we can take that ad and Katie can say, only show it to people who look like Matt, basically psychotic, and only show it on televisions on Sundays after football. So anybody who's watching the, breakdown as the How the Raiders got Freddie Mendoza #1 draft pick, you know what it is. That ad for people who are too cheap to buy YouTube Premium, they would see Katie and I like, you should be using Ecamm to do your podcast. And by the way, check out the Flow Mailbag. That would cost us more than just putting a blanket ad on YouTube. So those of you who are in there like swimwear, make them videos, make the longer videos, put them on YouTube. That should be your focus. Now, there we go. Yep. Let's get in. What are you struggling with today? Why are you struggling with? Hey, there's George. Wait, where is my mouse? Okay, I found it. Speaking of.
Yeah, well, Doc is getting everything all set up. Just a reminder that if you are hanging out with us here live right now, removed from the scene,
who the heck is
fired from
one?
the scene.
There you go.
Oh, jeez. While we are getting everything all set up, if you're here live and you didn't submit a question in advance, we have lots of time today. So definitely drop in those questions. Just drop a Q : in front of them so we can find them. We're more than happy to take any questions within the world of podcasting and video and maybe even some Ecamm ones. We usually don't go too far off topic, but happy to help.
Yes, and so this week I broke something, so I'm going to do a quick little cheat code, and then we'll be right back in 1 second. So let me do that. Let me do this, and drop in the first question.
Hello. So here's my first question for this week's mailbag. What are your 3 to 4 scenes for a podcast? I mean, I would set up a usual scene with myself in the beginning, maybe an intro slide, and then a guest slide, and probably another presentation slide and an end slide. That would be my setup. But what's yours? Thank you.
Okay.
Ooh,
good question, George.
I love this one.
Let me move this. I'm going to rearrange this over to here. Okay, so I like that question. What would you say yours are, Katie?
So mine for the VHS Club are pretty simple. I actually talked about this in my presentation at TubeFest. I only have 4, and I actually just cleaned house. So I removed all extra everything, renamed everything, made it all beautiful. I have, I know everyone hates a countdown timer, but I've actually thought really long and hard about it. And so I do technically have a countdown timer, but what I'm using for that welcome scene is I'm playing my incredible theme music that Doc helped me create in Suno. I'm putting a fun fact about the movie up on the screen so that my audience, as they're jumping in and getting ready, they're all chatting with each other and they're able to see kind of an interesting fact about the movie. I'm getting them talking while our theme song plays, but it serves 2 purposes because that first scene also is just the regular music theme song. It's not overly long. So that just goes from an audio standpoint, it just sounds like the beginning of the show. Then it moves into the second scene, which is Nat and I, and maybe, a third person if we have a guest on, just on camera, big like we are right now, like Doc and I are right now. This is the main portion of our show. This is where we spend the 95% of the time. And it's got, comments on the bottom for anyone that's sharing their feelings and reviews on the movie. Our third scene is our potato review. So we review in potatoes. And so that one kind of drops down how many potatoes we reviewed, and we have opportunity for people to share their feedback. And then I technically, I guess 5 scenes, because the last 2 are like a 1-2 punch. So the first one is a call to action scene that has a QR code so that people can join our email list, which is our only call to action. And then the last one is our theme song music playing, although we usually only play about 10 to 20 seconds of it, and has us kind of hidden behind like an opaque background with music plays, we're muted and we're just waving and putting final comments on screen. So again, it's kind of taking our viewers through an experience of like, welcome, we want your input. What'd you think about this movie? Our feelings and reactions while the people are joining in, the review, and then join the club so you can find out when the next episode is.
Okay, George's question hits like a ton of bricks. Here's why. Another thing that Charlie from YouTube, that's going to be his name, like Jake from State Farm, Charlie from YouTube brought up is that really funny thing about this, I was just talking to Katie about this from the event that I did with Benji in Seattle. You should be turning your productions, whether videos or podcasts, into shows. You want them to semi-resemble what folks are used to watching on TV, again, because of that high level of TV viewership that's coming out right now. So in that vein, first of all, your podcast could be one scene. It doesn't have to be a bunch of scenes. For the people that are just getting started and sort of, not wanting to wig themselves out, feeling a little over, quote unquote, by all the buttons and stuff, your show could literally be just you show up on camera, say what you got to say, and then hang up. You don't really have to do a bunch of stuff. Yep. I would say, depending on how your viewers work, let's see, we knew our viewers, we know who they are. We are attracting new people, but for the most part, our viewers are Ecamm fam. This show is designed to support our existing customers, and then they're also entice new customers. So we do have an intro, but I got rid of as much as I could. Now it's only this long. That's good. And the reason why on replay view, if someone's going to watch a video and you got the long theme, that could throw people off. It really depends on your audience. You know your audience. There's always this fight about countdown timer, no countdown timer. For the podcast, I don't really know if I would even do a countdown timer. So what I've done, though, is I've swapped the countdown timer in the playback video with an actual intro. So that way it doesn't look like you missed out on a live show. For a replay audience, I've got rid of the countdown timer. I replaced it with the exact same amount of seconds, which is like 10. I replaced it with the intro video that has a bunch of stuff spinning around with the new Final Cut you can easily do. Okay. Then we have our hosts, right? And then from the hosts, you're going to have a closing scene, and then you could literally have, everybody, please put in a sponsor block, even if you have no sponsor. What that does is it sets your brain up for the fact that I want one. It sets people who might like what you do and be like, hey, I make a product that your viewers might like. Would you mind putting us in the thing? So we put in a sponsor block, right? Everyone should do that. Even if your sponsor is your own stuff, your other channel, whatever the case may be, put in a sponsor block. That way, when you add one later, your audience won't panic and go, oh, money grab, you added a sponsor, which people do. Which I don't understand why, because creating content ain't cheap. As you all know, you all complain about how expensive the gear is, but I've also seen the same people complain about how come there's a commercial. Makes about as much sense as screen doors in the submarine. There you go. So that's it. Good question, George. I really liked it.
Great question.
I think that was it goes a long way into helping people sort of see how things work. And speaking of the Davis.
Hi, Katie and Doc. I'm so excited to submit my first question using Ecamm Live. So here we go. I started a YouTube channel a few moons ago, wasn't consistent with it, and I was using StreamYard. I liked it, but it wasn't great, and then life got lifing, and I had to put my YouTube channel to the side. I have now switched to Ecamm, yay, and I now have the time and the bandwidth to be able to really move forward and go and hit it hard. I'm so excited. So here's my question. I swiped all the old videos because the branding has changed and my message has tweaked, so I'm starting out with 0 in my library. I have about 50 subscribers. Told you I wasn't really active. And those previous videos that I did never had more than 60 to 100 views. So I think getting rid of them is not a big issue. What my question is for you is this. How many pre-recorded videos should I have in my library before I hit live that very first time? And to give you a little idea, this is my thinking, is I am a wellness educator. I help women ditch wellness dogma, all the BS that goes along with it. And we focus on 8 metrics. 4 for well-being, so like HRV, waist to hip ratio, metabolic flexibility, and sleep. And then 4 ratios for visibility, because most of the women I work with are entrepreneurs or creators. So the 4 visibility metrics are like your brand consistency score and your conversion efficiency, your marketing ROI, things like that. So I was thinking I would do a video on each one of those, put that in the library, talk about another video on why the 8 metrics are so important, and then hit the live button. What would you think? What would you suggest? I'm all ears. Thank you for letting me submit.
Oh, I chopped off the thank you. Thank you for the question.
Interrupting.
My bad. Listen, she killed it. I really like that commercial. I mean, that commercial. That question. Oh, he's so dumb. I like that question.
She could make commercials. She's got that talent.
Yo, PMD, first of all, thank you for the question. It was a phenomenal question. And I have ideas. But Katie, I'll let you go first. And that will I make the next scene. Why you do that?
I mean, I agree with you. I don't think I would start with a live. Although honestly, you could. Like there's no necessarily hard and fast rule of thumb. But I think if you're trying to build something and you already have an idea for what those early videos are going to be, having like one playlist of kind of your foundational videos is a good rule of thumb, because then when they're done watching your incredible live stream and they connect with you and they feel like they want to dive deeper with you, they have a few videos to be able to work their way through, and it kind of gets you started and ready to go. But I wouldn't say, and I'm interested to hear what you would think, Doc. I mean, I'm the person who I started with my first episode live, and I was just like, oh, we're live. And now I've created a bunch of content in and around it. So I don't think there's a wrong, but it sounds like you already have a plan. So I think if you move forward with your plan, but don't let the I need to create 8 videos before I can go live stop you. Like if you have those videos done and you have a plan for them, great, upload them and then go, but don't let that be a barrier to you stopping.
Phenomenal. Katie, phenomenal. Okay, here's my thoughts. I think in the world of fake gurus, what you want to do is put on your fake guru armor as much as possible. And one of the best ways you can do that, especially for the audience that you're talking to, show all of it. Like show the building, talk about the building, talk about your frustrations during the building, talk about every time you have a question, this a-hole doc has something crazy to say that makes you more confused. Like all of that, like put it in there. And because here's why, 2 things. And I mean this in the most bestest way possible. Because of the time that we grew up, a lot of the people who will become your audience have spent a lot of time swatting away the flies of the dumb stuff that humanity says to them, especially the male flies. We have all said stupid stuff to females. So you are inviting a bunch of kintsugi females to follow you from the beginning. And translated, you may have seen these on YouTube, kintsugi is this concept of beautiful porcelain or otherwise ceramic plates, saucers, vessels, teapots, and the above that for whatever reason have been broken. But they're put back together with gold.
With gold, yeah.
Which makes them prettier and stronger and for lack of a Japanese translation, gangster. I can tell by your title of your show, that is your audience. You're looking for sisters who've been through some stuff. If it was my show, you know what I would have said. And for that reason and that reason alone, I would show everything. Guys, I'm building this. I may or may not leave this here. I might erase it after it all gets built, but I want y'all to see that I'm here. I'm real. I don't want you to feel some type of way. Matter of fact, I'm trying to help you get rid of feeling that type of way. So I'm going to show you this all as I build it. What you're going to do when doing that is build a tight, core, cohesive audience of sisters doing it for themselves. That song is in my head now. Please do not let it come out. Don't sing it. Let's keep walking. So yeah, I think show it while you build it. You can absolutely erase the pre-stuff after, but let everybody in while you're building it so they can see that you're real and not one of these gurus. Because I think, and I'm not a doctor, but I do play one on TV, this trepidation of trying to show up with everything. I got my little 5 stack all together and blah, blah. I think that's some of the same different type of dogma tapping you in the back of the head going, PMD, you can't do this. You can't do this. You can't let them see the cracks. Let them see all the cracks. That's my advice.
That's a really valid point. All right. I switched mine over to docs. I think I had not considered the topic that you're in, and in a day and age where people are incredibly apprehensive about being lied to or about having robots talking to them or about gurus. I think that, if not, like if you for whatever reason decide to not start with live should be the core of what you're doing, because you are bringing yourself, flaws and all, in front of people who want a real person and not a guru. So
100%.
polish is going to work against you.
Yes, polish will absolutely. First of all, you already polish, sis. Come on. Look, we still cute. Some of these kids out here work hard to be cute.
You can be polished,
We're already
but real.
cute.
Yeah.
So you're already cute. Let's just run with it. With it. I think specifically for the audience that we're talking to, okay, this is going to sound crazy, and don't take this the wrong way, but the image just popped in my head, so I'll explain it. If I was a person going through, just say like a horrible relationship, and I went to one of the like shelters or something to go talk to somebody, and the lady sit there looked like Mrs. Howell from Gilligan's Island, I couldn't take her seriously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's sitting there with her queen, spotted tea hat, and she's like, so why are you with a man who doesn't treat you properly? Man, I couldn't listen to that lady. Like, it wouldn't work. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't have, do they go through the same stuff? Yes, but it just has a different vibe. You would want to see somebody who's from the cut. Let me explain that. If you're a person going to a shelter to get advice, and you come from, like, say, the ghetto, you want to talk to somebody who came from the ghetto. You do not want to talk to Mrs. Thurston Howell III, who goes by the nickname Lovey. Like, it just lacks credibility. So you coming in and just being PMD, and I'm going to show you guys how to put it back together and how to take off the nastiness and the funk of this wellness thing and drinking fake green powders and all this other stuff. It just feels better. It feels better coming from you. We love the way you are. Your smile is perfect. Your talk is perfect. Like, let them see the PMD that we know, and they'll love you more.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. We don't want to know about Valerie. She's a troublemaker.
Hey, I want to know about Val.
Hi, Val. I just saw her pop up in the chat, and I see Jimmy came to pop up in the chat. Thank you, Jimmy. Real quick, before we go any further, I do have another question, and I hope this is not a broken scene. Yes, it's working. Okay. So, Marian said, speaking of sponsor block, how does it work if the sponsor is your own product? Do you market paid promotion? No, because you're not getting paid. But you just still put the concept in there. And no, but you only have to make it a sponsored thing if it's a paid promotion. And one thing a lot of people don't do that you should do, even if it's a in-kind gift, like if we sent you a sweater and you're talking about the Ecamm merch, I still would mark it, even though you didn't technically get it paid, you got it free. It's just a weird thing. However, Australia rules might be different. So take that out with the Australia people. Okay, and then Jimmy says, the other Jimmy says, my scenes are countdown, what's coming, main scene, be right back, in scene, call to action, and some scenes have additional slight differences depending on live or recorded content.
Oh, there you go.
Very good.
I love that.
Very good. All right, here we go. Next question. I love Mailbag episode. It's so much fun.
Me too.
Technically challenging, but it's fun.
So next question, how do I plan or design my podcast flow that the guest feels comfortable and doesn't feel overwhelmed by the technology?
I like that. Sorry, Case, I'm really quick with buttons today.
No, you're fine. No, I was going to say I don't have to push any of the buttons, so it's not hard for me.
Oh, you're funny. You're absolutely hilarious.
So easy. Yeah.
Okay, this is a very good question, Jay in your case.
This is particularly important in the space that you're in, because your whole concept is working with people who are older, who might feel intimidated by a lot of the technology and how fast paced it is right now. So I think I'm so happy to hear that you're thinking about this, because I think it is particularly important for the space that you're in. That being said, I mean, my perspective would be, I would go and experience a couple of interviews yourself. So like be a guest on some other shows and jot down what made you feel really comfortable and what made you feel kind of, not sure how that feels. And then double down into those spaces where it feels more comfortable. You're going to want to keep it as simple as humanly possible with tools that are really recognizable. So I would say, if you're able to, I would use Ecamm for Zoom. I would set it up to be really simple so they feel like they're just joining a Zoom call. And then as you're pulling them into your scene and doing that process, talk them through it, ask them how their day is, like make it feel as though they've just kind of entered a really friendly space as a producer. Like you can have it feel more conversational in those moments versus more technical. You're in control of what that experience is like as you're getting everything all set up. And obviously the more you can practice that with like a friend or someone in the Ecamm community, the better, so that you know how that flow is going to be, so that you're creating an experience where they understand that you're fully in control. You're not, messing up or making it feel awkward or difficult for them. So yeah, but I think I'm thrilled to hear that you are thinking that way, because I do think that particularly for that audience, it could feel really intimidating if you don't do it well.
I like it. I'm totally different, but you know me.
Good cut back up. Go ahead, Doc. Over to back up.
No. This one is
I'm joking.
This one is quote unquote challenging for me.
Yeah.
I am on a mission to steal back language that unnecessarily messes with us. And so, first of all, I want everybody in the chat to at least attempt to recognize the fact that comfort in of itself is absolute BS, with the exception of laying down on my amazing pillow top beauty rest and, 1,200 thread count Egyptian cotton sheets and a really awesome Lucky duvet and comforter. That's comfort. Mm-hmm. I got amazing pillows. Time to get new ones, but amazing pillows. The new ones at Marriott are kind of dope. But yeah, like comfort in and of itself is absolute BS. And the reason why is we're always trying to get to somewhere that we may not even have ever experienced in the first place. I know for a fact from performing with some of the greatest artists in the world that KC from KC and JoJo is a nervous wreck before he ever steps on the stage, no matter how many people is out there. They got Grammys. They've been through some mess. Valerie is in the chat. Valerie has sung to well over a couple million kinfolks, hanging out with Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson and John Legend and all myriad other sorts of folks. Valerie, do you still get nervous before you go on stage? Are you still uncomfortable before you hit your first la 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 la? Way better than that, but do you still get nervous? Always. See, listen. Always nervous before a show. I know pro ballers that yak before every game. This concept of you have to be comfortable to be good is absolute BS. Shake that funk. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. The concept of everything that you don't know is overwhelming, also overplayed. Of course, because you don't know. But once you know, and then we get complacent. So the reality is we're looking for something that kind of sort of doesn't exist and making ourselves paying for it, but it doesn't really exist. And every person in here who is a mom knows good and well one of the most beautiful things in the planet is your children. It ain't comfortable having them. At times, it ain't comfortable raising them, but you wouldn't trade it for the world. You might want to throw your son against a tree sometimes. I'm just speaking from my mom's perspective. However, wouldn't trade it for the world. So why are we so drunk on comfort? Like it's not a thing. Let it go and just enjoy the moment or live the moment. Even the ones that aren't enjoyable, still live them, own them. These are the things that make us better as humans. We need these experiences. So what I'm looking for from my audience is an experience, not a comfort. Because also, I can't adjust your comfort. So here's a stupid question off the top of my head. Everybody in the chat, do you prefer your mattresses firm or soft? Do you prefer your coffee hot or cold? Your idea of comfort and their idea of comfort might be completely different. So where you trying to make them feel comfortable is based off of your essence. It might be totally different from them. So you might be making comfort something that nobody who can never get comfortable. So I just say shake that and just try to deliver the best experiences possible. I don't know if I should put this on the screen, but bingo, that's what I'm talking about. Right? Michael's not the smallest child either. He's a pretty tall kid. So, I'm just saying, like, we are overthinking things. Now, I don't want the experience to be terrible, so I can deliver an incredible experience. But, the first time you talk to your spouse, uncomfortable. The first date, uncomfortable. How long you and the incredible Mr. Fox been together?
17 years.
See what I'm saying?
18 years.
Right? Was it worth the discomfort in the beginning?
Yeah.
There you go.
I agree with everything that you're saying. The one sort of caveat that I would add in is that I think you are out of control in the how your guest is going to join it 100%.
Winner.
But you are in control with setting expectations and making it as smooth an experience as possible. So the people who win as incredible hosts and the people who their guests want to come back over and over and over again are those who are putting themselves into the guest's mindset and those who are making that experience as easy as possible. So like you're not thinking necessarily of like whether or not they're comfortable on camera per se. You're thinking about like, have you communicated well enough to them that they know how to find the link? Have you sent a calendar invite so you know that like because they might be crazy busy and maybe they said yes, but now they can't find where they said yes to and they're searching through. You want to make all of those processes as simple and as friendly as possible so that they don't have to think about it. All they have to think about is showing up in the space. You've handled everything and then having that conversation. So I 100% agree with Doc. I think a lot of it comes down to mindset and the words we're telling ourselves, but the words you need to be telling yourself to be an incredible host are going above and beyond in thinking through what that experience is going to be like for your co-host or guest and your community. So don't bring people on that you don't think are going to create an incredible experience for your community. So That would be my 2 cents. But I really cannot say this enough times. Like what really, really, really made a huge impact for me personally was putting myself out there and being a guest on all different kinds of shows and seeing how other people do it from all industries. I've been on ones where I was like way out of my zone and felt totally uncomfortable, but did it anyway. And I've been on ones that felt like a conversation with a friend. But the system and the path for getting on that show varies wildly show to show, and we'll give you some really great ideas of what to steal, what you would never do, how you're building an experience, so how you feel in those moments will be the kinds of experiences that you're creating for your guests coming on. So get on some shows.
What Katie said is perfect. Again, I want to stick that word in your head. I want you to remember experience. Experience is it. And here's why it comes out. We just had a IRL experience, which was beautiful because of my company. But I think the place could have done just a tiny bit better. Okay? So I wanted nothing more than to get on my bougie high tea while we were in the UK. And on the last day of hanging out together as a family, we went to this lovely place. The room was phenomenal. It was like where you were supposed to have tea. The girl who was helping us was training, not her fault, but her people who were training her wasn't doing a good job of giving her the information. Yeah. So it kind of made poor Sophie look bad, but it's just her. She's brand new, right? She's literally just training. Like they moved us 3 times. They had the misinformation. Like things just weren't, the best. However, the food was incredible. The tea was incredible, and I'm hanging out with my homies. So the experience overall, easy 85 to 90. It could have been 100. And it could have been 100 just do a little bit better communication, a little bit better training. Mm-hmm. But I would not still not give them, say, 4.5 stars. Them last 0.5 stars, if they had that, it would have been a home run. So I enjoyed it. but most of that was backfilled by Mike and Dory, Katie and Paul, and our jokes, and trying to figure out Dory's room color. And Katie eating my sandwiches because I'm not eating that mess. But, it was wonderful. And that's a memory that's going to stick with. Plus the pre-experience of how we had to walk around to get to the tea house. All of it was phenomenal. And I think about that. The experience is really the case. And so absolutely love that. Yes.
That's
and it was like even Paul said it was fun. And Valerie said it was the company and the food. 100%. The macarons, them joints was off the hook. It was so delicious. So yes, Val says being a guest is really smart, Katie. Something that I haven't done yet, man. By all means, Val, come and join us on over here.
Come and join us.
And every time Fritz shows up, I think of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because he was Lou Alcindor. I don't know if you're related, but when I see the name, it immediately just pops in my head. So thank you, Fritz. I appreciate you for being here. Okay, here we go. One more question.
During Digital Stage Summit last week, I noticed that a couple of presenters have been very low in volume, so very faint sound. When I, as a, let's say, host, notice that, is there a way how I can increase the volume for my guest remotely? Is there a chance to do that? Thank you.
That was really cool. Okay, so I do have a pseudo solution for this, and I set my entire show up. I'll use this screen because hopefully it'll make sense quicker. I set my entire show up to always be at 80, right? Mm-hmm. So I put these things at 80. Then I can drag it up a little bit higher, right? The sound effects one, I moved it down because my intro song is a little loud and I haven't leveled it yet. But normally, if I slide in my Zoom buttons, I kind of have all of these set on 80, so that way I have room to grow. If you start out with everything at 100, and then so you get your levels correct at 80 in your pre-show, your tech show, whatever. Now, let's say in the chat, Marianne says, "Oh, I can't hear Katie." Noted, I touched nothing. Marianne is not the boss. Ignore her. Valerie comes in and says, "I can't hear Katie." Noted. Those two are a little strange. I'm going to ignore them for a second. Fritz comes in and says, "Yes, I can hear Katie." That's 3. When 3 people tell me there's an issue, I'll attempt to fix it. If it's just one, don't touch anything. 9 times out of 10, they don't have their volume up. They got something else playing in the background. They got 2 screens open talking about they hear an echo. All myriad sorts of stuff that the viewers in the chat do. I need 3 people to tell me something before I touch it because I have watched entire shows get derailed by, "Oh, my bad, I had the volume down." Just terrible. Absolutely terrible. So before you say something dumb in the chat, check yourself. And then if you checked it, your volume's up, no other tabs open. Tab is not on mute, by the way, because you can right click on the tab and say mute this tab. If you exhausted all of that and it still sounds funny, then, your volume's the loudest. Then maybe, put it in the chat. From as a netizen standpoint, check your stuff before you complain. And then listen, right? Rich said, "Been there with 2 scenes." So before you say something in the chat, you double check it too. And a lot of times we're excited and the guest is somebody dope who's going to tell us how to make a couple $1,000,000. And so we want to hear everything. And we go, I can't hear. You have your tab on mute. Right. And that just wrecks the entire show. I have seen hosts get completely verklempt because a guest said something was wrong with the audio and nothing was wrong with the audio. And then 5 minutes later, because of the delays and the latency with questions, "Oh, my bad, I had the volume down." Three people before you move, set your levels at 80, try to get them sounding good at 80. And sometimes it's just out of your control. And so at the end, you just run the audio through Auphonic and publish the video. It's so simple. Yep. If you had no intention on publishing the recorded content and a bunch of people say it was really hard to hear this person, be like, "That's okay, people. I am going to remaster this and send it back out so everybody can hear. No one's going to miss anything. Just belay your audience and let it go. Do not let it disrupt your show at all." Mm-hmm. That's the secret.
The only thing I think I would add to that, because it's brilliant as always, is that I have been on a few different shows lately. And actually, maybe you could explain the details of this, Doc. So you should definitely always during the tech check be recording a video and audio clip and then playing it back, because you won't be able to just because you hear them and they hear you in the tech check communication doesn't mean that your audio is leveled for when you sound it out. In case you're new and don't know that, definitely record a video, play it back, and see how each of you sounds, and then make adjustments as a result, and have them make adjustments on their end and vice versa. But I have been in Office Hours Global does this really well. I imagine Twit does the same. I haven't been on that show, but they actually during the tech check have a little meter, and they have you say, I think it's like 20 seconds, 30 seconds of content, who you are, where you're from, how the weather is, etc. And you need to hit a particular number on their meter in order to pass the tech check. So I thought something like that, while seeming maybe a little over the top or like eye roll, that's a little technical, actually gives you that level of assurance that you've completed the tech check correctly. So something like that I think is also helpful if you want to make sure that you really nail that step and don't have to have issues later. What's it called, Doc? And do you know where they get something like that from?
They use a waves meter, and you can get
waves meter.
That's the name of the software. I use something called
Yep.
Ulean meter. Let me get you guys a link. You can actually do this online. ULEAN. Ulean loudness meter. Ulean loudness meter actually works as an online situation. I have the actual program. So you can run this on your computer, and then you can talk into it, and it will give you an idea of sort of what's going on. Let me see if I can make this work the way I have my screen set up. So this is Ulean loudness meter. And then if I press start metering, and then you got to give it permission. So you see my thing is going there. And so I could go here and I'm talking and I can see what my average is. Now, these numbers may not mean anything to you, and it's okay. I'm not asking you to become a sound engineer. As long as you're kissing this yellow, you're fine. If you're kissing this yellow, your audio is perfectly fine. Katie, let's see if it passes through when you say something.
Test. This is Katie Fox chatting here today.
Yeah, see, Katie's one doesn't really come through, and it's just the way this is set up. But if you use the desktop version, I can actually pass the Rodecaster Pro all the way through. The one that we are normally looking for is this loudness under full scale and LUFS. And I got to that by pressing this button. And I actually want the short term, and I want negative, because that's how we do it here. And so once it starts doing it and it's talking, you'll see someone around here is good. When YouTube finishes it, YouTube is going to push it back between 14 and 16. But if we're coming in at negative 20, you're pretty good here. And so, yeah, you can use something like this. It is a little technical, and it might be a little much for most people. But I agree with Katie. Listen, do your tech checks actually recording. As a matter of fact, you technically should go live, and nobody does that because people keep forgetting that you can go live unlisted. But when you do your tech check, you should technically go live. And then while you and the guest are on, play the live back, or have them open it up in their browser and listen, and ask them if they're comfortable with their levels. And yes, absolutely nobody does it, but you should. Now, I have enough recordings in my experience that I know for what I'm doing, it's all there, and we're good. Actually, Leo, negative 24 is for Netflix. Negative 23 is for Netflix. YouTube is looking for negative 14. And the reason for that, the reason why they want such a bigger amount is because they're going to smash it anyway. So I use negative 16 because it covers YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, publishing to Apple. And then if I needed to switch it back to negative 23 for Netflix, at some point Netflix comes in and says, hey, we want to buy the flow. Cool. And then I can just bring it back down. But yeah, actually, they want to come in at negative 16 on YouTube. So I use that. I use Auphonic to fix everything after the fact anyway, but without getting into the technical aspect of it, just record and listen for yourself. And this also messes people up. People say, well, it sounded really good in my headphones. Your headphones can lie to you. right?
You can also, like, it depends on how loud you have it turned up on your computer as well. Like, how are the headphones connected and what are they connected to and what is the volume on that? I've had that happen before where I was like, oh, sounds really loud. And so I mess with Nat's volume and then it's not, it's just my volume on my laptop was cranked up too high.
So figure out what your headphone volumes should be that's comfortable to you. There are sounds that you can play, like what's known as a 1K tone. You know, listen to that, get your level right there in your headphone. Now, everything compared against that is your basis, right? So once you know this is a decent level, you can work from there. But I've seen so many times where people have the headphone volume up loud, they think it's all good, they go to watch the recording and the recording is low, which is why you need to actually record it and then look at it. Look at it elsewhere. The meters on the Rodecaster Pro are kind of accurate, but somewhat of a lie. The meter on your Shure microphone is pretty accurate. But then how many of you guys know how to read a meter? That's the other part. So like the reality is listen to the recordings. Everything before the recordings is called pre-fader level, could totally be a lie. And you don't really know what you're getting into. So absolutely listen to the recordings. Yeah. I love that question, George, because it definitely happens and it sort of freaks people out. But just know that majority nowadays audio is so good. Majority of these things can be fixed in post with something like Auphonic, which I will die on a hill for. It is literally the best tool. I've been using it since the day it came out in 2012, and you couldn't take it away from me. I've tried all these new things that come out that are supposed to be great. Lies. Auphonic is the move. AUPHONIC.com. Not sponsored. Just an incredible tool.
Just loved.
And thank you, Leo, for showing up. Somehow when I read Leo, my brain just reads the second part, like Mary Lou. They're not even related. She don't have an E, but the last name is close. So it messes with
Mindel versus Mandel.
Mindel and Mandel. Just my head just gets I don't have that kind of brain space. Thank you guys for asking all the cool Flow Rider questions.
Amazing questions.
You came through. I am curious to know what PMD is going to do. Is she going to go live or is she going to go Memorex?
Interesting.
We need that chair.
And before we close off, we should just remind everyone, we sent out an email about this earlier today. If you're not in our emails, you can swing over flow.ecamm.com. We'll help you get onto our email list. But so our travel through everything off this month, but it is technically still production month. And so we are sneaking in after the mailbag episode an interview with Fulgens, maybe Jill, if her voice comes back, but she is without voice at the moment. But we're going to be talking all about how to translate like what happens at a live production using Ecamm into a produced video, because I think really understanding like how production works in a live setting is going to be really helpful for all of us as we're building out shows and trying to maximize the potential of what's possible in Ecamm. So we have an interview tomorrow with at least Fulgens, and so it's special day and time tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. No idea what time, Doc Rock time, but we will be there. we will be there live on YouTube for a special bonus episode of The Flow, which will be talking all about production and talking through a really incredible event that Fulgens and Jill were just at called NAC, which is the National Acapella and Choral Convention. I think I got that right. So should be a lot of fun. And we are happy to hear all your questions for that episode as well. So we'll have to do some additional. 8 a.m. Okay, good. 8 a.m. Hawaii, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Paul time.
Paul time.
Sorry for everyone else's time zone. We should have a widget that just has like a little time zone that just pops up. That would be a really fun widget.
Who knew that PST stood for Paul time?
Paul Standard Time. Yeah, exactly. So should be a fun bonus episode for tomorrow, and then we have yet to decide whether or not we will carry production into the month of May or if we will select a different topic. But we are happy to hear your input, so definitely shoot us a note, flow@ecamm.com, or get on the email list and just hit reply to one of our emails and let us know what you want to hear about next.
Dude, PMD, do it. local coffee house. I love it.
I love that.
One of my first podcasts that I did, my buddy had just built this thing here, and it's called The Village Bottle. And what The Village Bottle is a store that sells about 400 different types of beer, 31 on tap, with a screen on the top that tells you how much is in each, I was going to say kettle. It's keg. There's digital keg system, so it knows how much is in each keg, so that way you know, like, oh, I'm about to run out of such and such and such an IPA. I don't drink beer, don't know what it is. But they had a really cool, like, leather couch with book set in the back, and I was just like, bro, with the shop being brand new, can I record my podcast here? And he was like, yeah. And so we used to do the podcast there, every week, and it kind of became a thing. People would come in and drink, so you got a live audience, like the whole 9 yards. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, you can absolutely record at the coffee house if they give you permission. You're helping out a local business, and it'll be a cool way to go in your people. Don't do this enough, and I'm glad she brought this up. People do not promote to their local community to build a stock audience. You see what I'm saying? So, for instance, if I want VHS Club, right? It's hard to get the licensing for this, but if I had the ability to get the licenses to play the movie at a Flatbread, and then we all sitting around getting faded, eating that delicious pizza and those incredible salads. And we got the movie screen on that big wall. The fire thing is over here. And they got the big wall. And we're all sitting there watching the movie, cracking up, laughing. Or even if it's just clips. And then we record the show after we watched a couple of clips. Like, these are our favorite parts. And then there's, basically you sitting there. Maybe Nat can't come, so she's on the big screen to the people in the room. But on Ecamm, she's just little Nat in the corner. The experience of doing like VHS Club live at Flatbread with beer and pizza, and
huge,
bam, different. So like, think about promoting to your local community first. Do a couple of meetups or coffee ups or drink ups with people in your community first. I am sure no matter where you live, PMD, you have a whole bunch of sisters that are ready to shake the wellness dogma too. If you can get just say 5 to 10 of them, you starting your audience with 5 to 10 kinfolks. You're not starting out talking to nobody. And I swear people don't do that enough. And that will change the way you do your show. Katie's one is difficult because she's working with movies and companies get real pissed. So you'd have to do like watch party stuff, which Amazon now has, by the way. If it's on Amazon, you can do some pretty decent watch parties. And there's apps out there to do watch parties.
We found a good platform. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it'll be boom. So you want to be, Mike is correct. You want to be able to take over the whole thing and make sure you can turn that sound system off. Katie and I and the Ecamm family did an event in San Diego, and we had every intention on playing music during the event. And I had this brainiac idea that all the content was going to get flagged. So I created a 3-hour epidemic music playlist. So that way, none of the videos on our channels would get flagged. Problem solved, 100%. And nobody really noticed it because you're not paying attention to the music while you're there. You're talking, you're having coffee, meeting people for the first time, like we got to meet Michael and stuff. And so, yes, it's absolutely incredible. All right, here's a question not related, but let's get it in there before we close out. Does the rating on the SD card matter for 1080p at 25 frames per second with audio?
Good question.
At that level, probably not, but I would still do V30 no matter what. I would stick to V30 and the one that has a 10 with the circle, which is a class 3. So class 3, 10 with the circle, V30 plus, you're good to go. At this day and age, I try to stick to V60s and V90s, but with the current costs, get friendly with V30s. You can replace them later because right now the card costs a rip. But if you're doing that 1080, you're perfectly fine. All right, gang, that is it. That is an absolute freaking wrap. It was so much fun. Don't forget, you can start sending your questions in now for next month's mailbag. That way we don't have to rush and give me enough chance to think about what you want to ask. And then if you
I'll drop that link in. It's just ecamm.tv/mailbag.
Mailbag. Gonna need a sweeper. Mailbag. And then if you haven't done so already, jump over to flow.ecamm.com. Once again, that's flow.ecamm.com. You can screenshot this and tap on the little QR code. But that is a good way to get questions in as well. Let us know what you think about the show. And just get in contact and let us what you want to see. Thank you guys so much for being the Flow Riders. My brain still thinks it's like 5 p.m. in the UK. So time to take a nap.
Dinner time.